Hi, welcome. Today is the day I'm going to call Arch Madness. So today, I am going to be creating a couple of arch trellises. I already have several and you can't get enough. I keep going, I keep adding more, and everywhere I look I'm like, you know what that needs? An arch. The one that we're going to start with is going to be for my shade structure. I have my indeterminate tomatoes on underneath or grow up this arch that we're sitting under. Tomatoes really don't thrive in full sun during our hottest months, so we need to be prepared to cover them. This is my current tunnel situation where I'm going to be growing indeterminate tomatoes, 2 on each side, and then I have in these towers made with stakes and tomato arms 2 more, 4 on each bed altogether, so 8 total tomatoes here. I have put my very first one, it might be a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to be utilizing ladder mesh and U-posts. I will be attempting, my first line of defense is I'll be attempting to grow beans, heat tolerant and vigorous beans, as my shade, but if that does not work, I'm prepared to throw a shade cloth up. I already started a few days ago by placing these U-posts in here because I wanted to go ahead and sow the beans. They haven't come up yet, but hopefully they will soon. And I did the first one. So I attach it with galvanized wire. This is a 5-foot U-post. I probably would have, I just didn't think about it. I should have gotten the taller ones like you see back here. I should have got those bigger ones, but I didn't. So I have a 5-foot U-post, and then I have the ladder mesh. I have 2, I think these are 10 feet long. So I have 2 of them and I connected them in the middle. You see these sections here? I have them overlapped by 2 of those sections and tied together with ladder mesh. Typically on all my other trellises, I did this kind of wrap around pattern to give the plant some more things to hang on to. But because I am prepared to put a shade cloth up here if I need to, I didn't want to have extra more little wire ends for the shade cloth to catch to than necessary. So I'm just going to test it out without any of those. Hopefully my vision works. Step 1. Ooh, see, almost tried to knock you guys over. Step 1 is going to be to attach these 10 foot ladder mesh pieces together. You find this at the hardware store in the rebar section. This is a form of rebar, like when you're pouring concrete you would put something like this underneath, and it is galvanized so it shouldn't rust, especially in my quite arid climate. So I am going to attach 2 of these sections worth together. Okay, so I have tin snips, or you could probably use wire cutters, but I like these pointed edges to help me with the wire sometimes. Gloves. And then my galvanized wire. I would recommend 18 gauge galvanized wire. I had originally tried 16 gauge and it was too sturdy. The lower the number, the thicker this wire is. So I prefer the lower or the higher gauge, I guess. That's kind of confusing, but the ones that are going to be skinnier, they're easier to work with and not as hard on the hands. But if you have really strong hands, go for it. So I line these up as good as possible. And I'm going to take my wire and wrap. I like to use these tin snips to go ahead and get that ender in there as good as possible, as tight as possible, and with as small of a little extra piece to catch on the shade cloth as possible. There we go. I'll try to point those all the same way so I can make sure that that is bottom and not the side that would come in contact with the shade cloth if I do end up using that.
While I'm busy twisting this around, I wanted to pop in here with a voiceover really quick. I forgot to mention that you do not need a truck to get this ladder mesh home. You can definitely bend it and contort it to fit in the car, even a small car.
Okay. There we are. Since I have a little bit extra, I'm just gonna go up the side a little bit to be even more connected, you know? I would have normally done this, but because, like I said, I am prepared to need to cover this with shade cloth, I didn't want to have these extra wires down on the side that can get caught on the shade cloth, because everything likes to get caught on shade cloth. That one's being a stinker, so I'm gonna call that good enough. Alright, got these two attached. Next, trying to add a little curve to it. It's really hard to make it look perfect, but once it's covered with plants, I think we'll be okay. Ooh, I forgot to get these little corners. I forgot to attach these. That would definitely go through the shade cloth. I'm just gonna use these UV protected zip ties. This one is bent kind of crazy from forcing it into the car. This part is a little difficult by yourself. Maybe this wasn't meant to be on this side. The middle was a little easier because the rest was on the middle arch. Ouch. Just trying to get this steady enough to go to the other side. Lock it in. Need gloves. Myself. the little hooks are too depressed in, so I can't really hook them on. So I'm going to use zip ties. Hi beautiful friends, it is fully a week later. Why is it fully a week later? Because my camera kept being weird. It's never done that again, so I don't know what that was about, but it kept shutting off and stopped recording in the middle. That was something that was annoying me. And then this wasn't working out as easily, and one of the little ends whipped out and cut me. So I decided I was done for the day. Where we left off is I finished 2 out of the 3 tunnels, so we were actually almost done. So I just need to finish that very last one. I did notice that they're kind of wobbly, so I might need to tie them together at the top, but I probably won't do that today because I need to think through what exactly I want to do. Also, don't mind my hose on the floor. I was watering my little makeshift nursery down here. So, anyways, let's finish off that last one. All right, this is the worst part. I gotta somehow get this on there by myself. Now, why is this one so much longer? Aw, man, I attached these shorter. I'm sure that will bother me forever, but I am just gonna put this on lower rather than take this apart. I'll probably fix that one day, but today is not that day. Okay, I spent a bunch of time messing with it, and to be honest with you, I'm gonna call that good enough. Let's attach it. So I just wrap it around, bring it around town.
Time to bring it around town. Bring it around town.
Just me. When I get to an opening here, every so often, I weave this in just to give that a more secure hold. And this piece isn't long enough, of course. Let's get another piece. Why is this going crooked? Okay. Alrighty, we got one side attached. Let's just go do the other side. Over here, I didn't do that good of a job of curving it. I'm going to try to go over there and straighten it up. Well, not straighten it up, curve it. You know what I mean. I feel like that did nothing. This is really hard because I'm looking right into the sun. Did that do anything, guys? Maybe the problem is more so this side being too... Okay, hang on. No. No. Come here. Okay. To be honest, I'm gonna call that good enough. All done. Okay, if you see stuff everywhere in the back, that's because I'm currently moving stuff around and don't know where exactly I want to put things, but I am going to add an arch in between these two beds here. Now I'm impatient and I really should wait until those onions are done. That way I can put this arch close to the edges, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to move this back and look for my drip. It's right there. So I got plenty of room anywhere over here. I'm going to use this screw right here to get me like somewhat in the middle. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I actually do need this arch. That would be way too skinny. It needs to be wider. So I'm not being impatient. Those onions saved me from making a mistake. I need to be even further back than even this. I saw a fat earthworm in this bed the other day when I was replenishing the soil. So I'm sorry, soil life, that I am bothering you. Now, I don't know if you noticed, doing it with that mallet is not that efficient, so I'm gonna go get a hammer. Now, just need to get the arch. Is this too? This still looks a little skinny. Let's see. So I definitely need to move these U-posts out even further. Perhaps we should just do the middle of the bed. Take 84. Use this little clip to hold one side in place while I wrap around the other side. And the reason why I wrap wire around this is because I pretty much get at least one of these horizontal pieces to rest in one of the hooks of the U-post, but this is rebar. It's not fencing in any way, so it's not designed to go on here. Therefore, it pretty much doesn't line up any more than one time. this being just a little bit taller, I think it'll just give us a nice visual of the bed right through that is going to be hopefully full with flowers. Okay, because I'm clearly crazy and obsessed, the last two arches we're going to do today, I already have a couple more places that are going to get an arch as soon as those crops can get flipped and put out. But for today, I'm going to add an arch in between those two 3x4 beds on down there. I was going to say on the ground. All the beds are on the ground. But the short ones, these beds down here made out of cedar fence pickets. I want to add some arches in between there. Again, I'm going to be using the ladder mesh. My ladder mesh is, there's different thicknesses. You can get the smaller 6-inch, or maybe it's 4-inch, something like that. There's a small one, but I have the 8-inch wide ones. So I'm going to add 2, just because I think it might look silly to have only 8 inches of an arch in between those 3 feet right there in between those two beds, and 7 feet up. But also because this is already planted before I decided to put it in here, putting a stake right there in the middle and then planting something to go up it in the middle is not really going to work. But do you know it will work? Exactly in between the plants on either side. So that's what we're going to do. If you're worried about my safety with this hammer, you should be. Kidding, I'm going to get one more shot really quick. I just wanted to get from this angle so you can see how far I drive it down. I go until this part is underground. I'm going to get the stupid post driver because I can't tell if it's a rock or just hard soil. Okay, it was just hard soil. Whew. Thank goodness. I was getting worried that I would have to change the plan completely. I realized that the back ones are not the direction I want them to face. I had the hooks facing in instead of facing out. So I'm going to see if they're easy to pull up. If they're easy to pull up, I'll flip them. Okay, same old, same old. On this one, I don't think I'm going to go all the way up to the top. I think I'm just going to connect it and leave the very tops of the arches without wire, because I'm not sure that plants really need, like, besides maybe cucumbers or melons that are heavy, it'd be nice to give them something extra, but you can always add on later. So I'm going to see how that gets me this year. I can always add on more wire if I need to. Right, it's dark as heck. I took too many breaks today because it was really flippin' hot. But if you can see, I got my 2 arches set. We did these 2 arches. That one over there in the middle. This arch. And the shade structure. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. And if you did enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.